When I was younger, just like many other people, I used to watch a lot of YouTube, and I ended up finding this guy that basically had a series. In this series, I would watch every single episode that would come out of it and just think, man, I kind of wish that could be me. I never talked to him, never thought that I'd ever get to meet him, and now he's basically my coworker. Is that not crazy? If you've ever watched someone online and felt like they were kind of like light years ahead of you or just like way too out of your reach, this story of mine might actually make it seem like it's very possible. There was this one saying, I'm sorry if I get it wrong because I'm just using my memory, but it's like you're seven people or seven connections away from the person you're trying to connect to, right? And so I genuinely do believe this, and sometimes even less than seven. But setting kind of like the situation and how it was for me, I was basically just a kid. At this time, I was maybe early high school, maybe like late middle school. I had no equipment, barely a following. I maybe had 200 subscribers maximum. No clue how people even made money online. And I was simply just enjoying watching random things on the internet. And one day I find on my recommended that there's this creator that made this series. I'm keeping the series very vague and the creator very vague. I don't really want to out myself because, it's a little embarrassing. But point is, this series was amazing. I loved every aspect about it, and for me, it feels just as nostalgic as any Cartoon Network show. So, something about this creator, I don't know what it was, but I just fell in love with his content. Maybe it was the way he edited it, even though there was very minimal editing, or maybe it was just the fact that he wasn't really rich or famous. He was just a real creator enjoying making videos with his friends. So every time I'd refresh his channel, it kind of felt like Netflix in a way because he was making these little storylines and stuff. And at that age, I wasn't even trying to learn. I was just enjoying and I was obsessed with the characters and everything that was going on. But somehow it taught me some of the early workings of what I use to this day. This sort of quiet inspiration, which is what I like to call it because I didn't know him. I didn't know how to even reach out to him. He probably had like a Discord server or something. I just didn't know how any of that worked. Wait, I don't even think Discord was a thing back then. Yeah, I don't even think that like online community stuff was even really that big. But I basically began to think about how he did his things, and it kind of inspired me to start posting videos just like his, and that's what I began doing. Not only did I kind of copy his flow, I copied his editing style, and I could not copy his consistency. He was just way better at it than I was. But this did bring me to the courage of posting videos, and that posting videos led me to my first $0 to $100 a month, which was pretty cool as a kid, right? And so this was a heap of money for me. But this kind of snowballed later on to my first 1,000, then 10,000, then 100,000. I'm at 1 million at the moment net. But not the point. The point is it all kind of led from this guy. And so this is kind of like me thanking him in a way because I never really got to. But I genuinely do owe a lot of the trajectory of where I got up to now to him. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is I feel like a lot of people have creators that they look up to and that they kind of watch without really thinking too much about it. And maybe thinking that like you're nothing like them. But I promise you, we're all still human, right? And no different to creators, maybe business owners. Business owners are also still just human. We all used to think the same thing. And they honestly probably know the struggle that you're sitting in much more than even you do, because for them to get out of that struggle, they had to be very self-aware of that struggle when they were at that struggle. See what I'm saying? And so I just feel like this isn't talked about a lot. And this really did start everything for me. Over time, as my skills and confidence kind of grew, I started booking gigs, building a name for myself, and eventually becoming a content creator just like he was. Though I didn't use the same type of content, and neither did I really do anything similar to him, the point was he led me to wanting to make videos online and still kind of is like a very inspirational person to me just because of it, even if he doesn't make the same content as he used to nowadays. I didn't really need a permission to start, and I think that was probably one of the best things about this. As with anything in school at that time, I needed a permission slip. I just needed proof that it was possible and it was fun, and that's all I needed. And that's all I really needed to get from him. But I think what was crazy was more of the stuff that happened, I think, roughly a yearish ago, which was a full circle moment. At this point, again, he's probably in like the millions of subscribers range. I had a channel that basically got around, I think at that time, 290,000 subscribers. So I was still on my way up. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really that big, but I wasn't really that small either. I was kind of in the midway point. I mean, it's all relative. So if you think it's big, it is big. But basically, I got into a little bit of drama. It's a little embarrassing, but I'll basically give you the gist of it. There were people in my community that knew of him. And they told me, the people in my community told me about some drama that he got into. Obviously, I didn't really think much of it. If it's drama, then it probably did happen. So I'm just assuming it did happen. So when one day I was asked about that drama, I told basically publicly on my server, I talked about the drama and I'm like, oh, I think he got into blank, blank, and blank, right? And so all of a sudden, I think like a few days later, I get a message from this creator that I looked up to asking me why I wanted to start beef. And I'm like, whoa, what is going on? Okay. I was freaking out. I was like, wait a minute. What are you talking about? What are we talking about? And he sends a screenshot of my like messages and it's very taken out of context. It's literally just a claim of that he was up to something and that's what I know. And so obviously I come to find out that a lot of it was false. It was just a lot of rumors that viewers made up. And I didn't really, again, I didn't think much of it because I was like, it wasn't even that bad of a claim. So I was like, I thought it was just, you know, everyday yapping, essentially. And so I wanted to clarify it. So I clarified it on my Twitter and then we got to know each other. And then he started asking me questions about like the content I did and like what I was up to. Because I think at this time he wanted to transition into a different form of content. And so he was very open to just talking about content. And basically, it kind of changed from me being a fan of his content and stuff to me genuinely being a coworker. Now that we were in the same gaming space, I realized like he's treating me like a creator because I am a creator. And so, yeah, just to kind of put yourself into this position, imagine you're watching someone on YouTube as a broke teen and realizing that one day you're in the same messages as this person, the same group chat, same project. And not only that, he wanted to involve me with some of his future projects. And I'm like, whoa, that's pretty crazy, right? So at least for me, like obviously he's changed a bunch. His content has changed a bunch. And it's not like I idolize him anymore. I respect him as a peer and I have respect on him because he did kind of introduce me to a lot of this stuff. But it is just the craziest part that he accidentally made me pretty rich just by being himself. And it kind of motivated me in a way because just by making content, whether it's on my main faceless channels or it's on this channel where I just talk about things that I'm genuinely interested in or talk about ways to help you guys kind of get to your goals, you can change people's lives just by talking about it, just by acting on your own. And he didn't set out to change my life, but he ended up doing so anyways. And that's why I try to show up now. I try to show up now and I try to talk about things that people or creators or business owners may not even be comfortable with talking about. Such as this moment where I did idolize him at some point, but then it changed into respect. So if you are in this realm of making content right now and feel like no one's watching, someone might be. Someone like I was once might end up finding your channel and it might convince them to start their own channel, and it's this butterfly effect. So basically, just to conclude everything, I think it was a very surreal experience for me getting to meet someone that I saw as someone that I looked up to, that I thought was very inaccessible to me. And genuinely, if you are in that situation or that scenario where you're watching someone and you're like, damn, I kind of wish I was doing something just as cool as them, you can. You're not stuck. All you need to do is start. If you start creating and keep going, you might actually be someone else's spark. And not to mention, you might even get to meet the person you're looking up to right now, because you never know who's silently learning from you until they're standing right beside you. So let me know if you guys have anybody that you look up to in the comments and stuff, or just, send this to someone that might need maybe like the push or the inspiration or the motivation. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's yap. Subscribe if this helped. Join the Discord, trying to gather a community of like-minded people. And if you're interested in YouTube and trying to grow out your YouTube channel and make some passive income like I do from like faceless channels, feel free to reach out on the Discord. There's a bunch of free resources on there too if you're interested. But honestly, hope you guys have a good one, and peace.